Shalom. I want to begin first and foremost giving all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jehovah and Jesus. The real name of the Father is Yahweh, which means He delivers. The real name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means He will deliver. Salakia. The name of the Father is Yahweh, which means He exists. And the real name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means He will deliver. I want to give all praises in the ancient Hebrew tongue while facing the east towards Jerusalem. Call halal la Yahweh Bahasam Yahweh Shai Bahasam Rakakwadash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahweh Shai the water Yahweh Bahasam Yahweh Shai Bahasam Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, to the elders of Yasharala, Greatmillstone. Shalom to the 144,000. Shalom to the elect, the nation of Israel, or the descendants of the slaves identified as the so-called African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. My name is Makala, and today I want to talk about uproars of the people. All right, once again, all right, Trump threatened Portland with troops to quell protests. The mayor says it's not needed. All right, no one was injured Wednesday, and some of the crowd began to dissipate by about midnight. While disruptive to nearby residents, a charter school relocated this summer to get away from the crowd-control devices. The nightly demonstrations are a far cry from the unrest that gripped the city following the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police in 2020. They nevertheless have drawn the attention of President DJT, who often sparred with the city's mayor back then. Last week, Trump described living in Portland as like living in hell, and said he was considering sending in federal troops, as he was recently threatened to combat crime in other cities, including Chicago, Baltimore, and Memphis. He deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles over the summer and as part of his law enforcement takeover in Washington, D.C. I saw these people protesting against immigration, or ICE, and we're seeing that a lot, all right, on the West Coast. And you got here protests in Paris and across France seek to block everything, leading to nearly 200 arrests. Protesters blocked roads, set blazes, and were met with volleys of police tear gas Wednesday in Paris and elsewhere in France, seeking to heap pressure on President Emmanuel Macron by attempting to give his new prime minister a baptism of fire. All right, and these French protesters are burning. All right, they're burning things. You know, them people in France, but they be protesting like crazy. All right, and they don't play. They bring Molotov cocktails. Man, they don't play. All right, tens of thousands protest against legal crackdown on Turkey's main opposition party. Tens of thousands of people protested in the capital Ankara on Sunday against a court case that could oust the head of the main opposition on Monday after a year-long legal crackdown on hundreds of its members. Live footage showed crowds chanting for President Tayyip Erdogan's resignation while waving Turkish flags and party banners. All right, they're tired of Erdogan. All right, they want him out. All right, and here you got final stage of Spain's Volta cycling race suspended following pro-Palestinian protests. The final stage of the Volta a España was suspended on Sunday after several large pro-Palestinian protests disrupted the premier cycling event in the Spanish capital Madrid, according to organizers. All right, they're protesting against that genocide All right, look what they got right here. This criminal. All right, here you got London protests latest. Musk's speech at Tommy Robinson March denounced as disgusting and inappropriate. Elon Musk's speech at a march organized by Tommy Robinson, in which he told attendees to either fight back or you die, has been denounced as inappropriate and disgusting. The ex-owner claimed the dissolution of parliament and a change of government is needed in the UK, where he appeared via video link at the huge march on Saturday in London. He wasn't gonna say that in person because the UK, they don't play with they got speech crimes now over there. You can't say certain things against the government, man. They'll lock you up on some Big Brother 1984 type of thing, North Korea type of time they got going on over there. But check this out. I'm gonna end it with this, second Ezra 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, all right, measure thou the time diligently. That's just another way of saying, all right, be up to date with all the current events in the world, all the news, keep up with the news, especially geopolitics, all right? Because geopolitics is something that everybody should be on top of, no matter who you are. Everybody needs to keep track of the relationships between countries, all right? The political relationships between countries. Everybody needs to be on top of that. That's basically what geopolitics is, all right? It's relationships between countries, because that's how you keep track of everything leading up to this battle of Armageddon, all right? There's World War III. And shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right? When you're seeing all of these worldwide events escalating in frequency and intensity, you're going to realize that the Lord is near. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, all right, and we're seeing a lot of earthquakes in various different places. All right, it's earthquakes, a whole bunch of different places, man. All right, and uproars. All right, we're seeing uproars is just another word for people coming up against their governments, right, in the forms of protests, riots, etc. You had the thing recently in Nepal, all right, and then you got these things that are happening in those articles I just mentioned. All right, these are ongoing things. All right, I remember growing up in the '90s, man. I didn't really hear about too many protests like that. All right, you heard about some riots, all right, because the Rodney King beating. You heard about some things here and there, but really, man, all right, there hasn't really been that many protests like there are nowadays, man, in these times. I probably, back in the '70s and '60s, you had the civil rights movement, but those things died down. All right, now you're seeing protests on a worldwide level, not just confined to one country. You're seeing it everywhere, man. All right, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right, you're gonna know that this is prophecy. This is prophecy coming to pass. The Lord ordained these things to happen before they happened. people coming up against their government, rising up. They're just tired, right? They're tired, and they want this man's kingdom, all right, Esau's kingdom, to go down. All right. Everybody in the world just, subconsciously they want Esau's kingdom to go down, all right, because when the wicked are in authority, the world mourneth. All right. And these uproars, all these things, they're not gonna stop until the Lord comes back. Right? And these are all signs that he actually is coming back soon. All right, Yahweh Shai is coming back real soon. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope the video is edifying. Shalom.